Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christian. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, good day. Wherever you are, whenever you are seeing this, I hope you are good. So guys, today we're going to be talking a little bit more about love and just preparing yourself to receive love in this season. Like I've been saying, I definitely think that this is going to be the year that a lot of us connect with our soul family, find our soulmate. Valentine's Day is right around the corner. So if you don't have love and connection in your life right now, you're definitely going to be thinking about it. You're going to be thinking about it. You're going to be pondering on past relationships. I also think too, as the spring equinox gets closer and closer, we're only like about a month and a half away, almost 2 months really from the spring equinox. So it is almost here. So whenever the spring equinox comes, that's going to be when we're feeling that motivational energy again. We're feeling inspired again. And I definitely think that's going to be what pushes us back outside and what starts to push us to try to connect with others again in friendship and in loving connections. So I'm going to be making another video very soon talking about creative ways to show yourself love, because I think a lot of us have trouble stepping into these relationships that we want because the relationship that we have with ourselves is broken. So we're going to get into that a little bit today, but definitely stay tuned for that next video about self-love and how we can really love ourselves into attracting love from everywhere else around us. So make sure you're staying tuned for that. But today we're going to be talking about some ways that we can continue to prepare ourselves and prepare our minds, and a little bit about how we can reconnect with ourselves to just prepare for everything that we're going to be stepping into in love. I appreciate you guys so much as always. If you want to book private sessions with me, check out the link in the description box. If you check out that link, you'll be able to see where you can get your self-led tarot course, where you can book your 30-minute sessions, your hour sessions, your mentorships, your business reboots, and our business consult where you get your business back together, or you can do a releasing session, a mini or a full releasing session. I've been doing so many 90-minute releasing sessions, and they have been so powerful. Literally just in the session itself, I feel like I'm seeing things being released from you guys. So it's been so amazing and so incredible. If you guys are interested in any of those services, check down below in the description box. I'm also doing my donation-based readings all the time. So if you guys are ever interested in a donation-based reading, just check the community tab. I'm always going to be posting flyers there and info there, so you guys can book with me whenever you're interested. But let's go ahead and get into the video. So I went ahead and tapped in with the Sacred Solidarity group chat. If you are in need of community, go on Instagram or check out the link in the description box for the Instagram, Sacred Solidarity. The podcast, Talks from Sacred Solidarity, is all based on things that we can do to work on to get us ready for community and friendship. Sacred Solidarity is my online community, and there is a group chat as well. You can join the group chat if you want. In the group chat, I basically asked if anybody had any questions about preparing for love, or just some things that they had in mind when they think about if they're prepared for love. And I even asked a question today on the Instagram where I said, if the friendship of your dreams or the relationship of your dreams was presented to you today, would you be ready to step into it? And a lot of times we may feel like we're ready to step into certain things. A lot of times we may feel like we're ready for certain things, when in reality we may just be lonely, or we may just be tired of waiting. So, you know, when we are connected with people, especially with people that we're supposed to connect with, or even when it's just a lesson, there are so many different things that have to be in alignment in order for that relationship to take place. You know, sometimes you literally have to move to a different space, or quit your job, or have a baby by somebody, you know, to meet their friend or their sibling or their parent. And that can unlock healing for you. It can unlock change within you. So there's so many different things that need to be in alignment in order for us to connect. And I feel like that's what we're going to be working on right now as we wrap up the winter. Now, if you're doing the right things, and you've definitely been recognizing where you're falling short, where your relationships haven't been saving you, what's been depressing you, what's been draining you, what's been, you know, knocking you off your game, what's been encouraging you to step away from discipline and just step into things that feed your ego and your shadow, you've been able to pinpoint on those negative influences, or those things that kind of support an old version of you. So you already kind of know what isn't serving you anymore, relationship wise, friendship wise, even certain communication styles, you know. So it's important to really tap into that and work on those things so we can prepare for the spaces that we want to step into. So something that someone asked was about believing the words of love that you try to tell yourself and that you try to speak over yourself. Now, I'm going to talk about this a little more in depth in the next video, specifically about self-love and rebuilding that relationship that you have with you. But it's important to remember that a lot of times we have a mindset that already tells us love is this or love is that, you know? So what we really are working to do is reprogram our mind. Like we always talk about here, reprogramming your subconscious mind. You have to reprogram in your mind in a way that lets you know that you are deserving of love, that you're deserving of love just because you exist, that you don't have to do anything or become anybody different to step into love. And when we develop that mindset, it makes us feel more comfortable cutting somebody off or releasing something that doesn't work for us, because we know I am love. Everything around me is love, so I'm always going to find love. If I have to remove myself from something, I'm going to find love somewhere else. But when we have this mindset that tells us, if you can't find love this way, if you can't step into love this way, then it's not going to happen for you. I think it makes it that much harder to believe when we tell ourselves, I love you, you're beautiful, you're powerful, you're amazing, you're strong, you know? It's one thing to be able to speak to yourself. Anybody can say an affirmation, but that's why we talk about the intention and the power and the passion behind the affirmation. It's one thing to try to encourage yourself and tell yourself to keep going, but it's a totally different thing when you can visualize yourself at the finish line and you understand what's been holding you back, and you understand why it's been holding you back, and you understand that even though you have been held back by things, you can still move forward and you can still move on. When you don't have all of those other beliefs to back up, I can do anything or I can still move forward, it's not going to hit the same. You know, you really might not really believe it like that. Like, it's one thing to tell yourself something, but what about everything that lies underneath the surface? Like, if you're struggling to feel like you're deserving of love, so you're telling yourself every day, I am deserving of love. Why? Because that's what your subconscious is going to ask. Why am I deserving of love? I've always felt like I wasn't, so why? And if you don't know why, then you telling yourself you're deserving of love is not going to help you find why. You have to understand for yourself who you are, what makes you lovable, what makes you worthy. And if you feel like there are certain things that you need to work on, if you feel like it might be a little hard to love you or a little hard to be around you because maybe you go to, conclusions really quickly, you might not give people the benefit of the doubt, you might not be patient, you might not really have a lot of trust going on, it might be difficult for you to communicate with people and for them to communicate with you. If you know all of those things are something that you want to work on, when you're trying to step into a new space, you're going to be reminded of those things. Well, are you sure you're ready for love? Because look at this and look at this and look at this. Even when you connect with someone new, you're instantly going to be triggered by these old grudges. You're instantly going to be thinking, are they cheating on me? Are they thinking this about me? Can I trust them? Should I say this to them? So you really want to work first to reprogram your subconscious and ask yourself the why. Because if you don't believe you're deserving of love, if you don't believe it's time for you to step into these things, then it really doesn't matter. Even if the dream connection comes into your life, you'll have a problem receiving it because you can't believe the things that you've been taught. Also, healing is so important. Healing, is really, really, really key, because if you are not whole, you trying to connect with other people is low-key doing yourself a disservice, if not high-key. And I know that healing is so much easier when we have community around us, but I guarantee you, I have healed by myself and I've healed with people around me. It really doesn't make that much of a difference. It's good to have support, especially if when you're in spaces of healing, you go to a very, very dark space. It's good to have people around you that can remind you that you're on the right track, that can pour into you with love and happiness and self-confidence when you can't do it for yourself. But if you're in a space where you're feeling so dark that when people tell you that they believe in you, you don't even believe it, when people tell you that they love you no matter what, you're questioning it, then that's not really something that you can really benefit from, So I think it's important to really check yourself and ask yourself, am I even believing that I'm really worth these things? Do I really feel like it's time? Or am I still in a space where these thoughts from the past, the pain from the past is still attacking me? It's still beating me up and beating me down. And we're going to get way into that in the next video. And the reason why I have to split this up in 2 videos is because rebuilding the relationship with yourself is, of course, so important, but it's also very, very, very deep. It's a lot that goes into that. And when people always say, oh, whenever you stop focusing on love and relationships, that's when it comes. I've met so many people and I've had so many friends in my life that have said, but I'm really not focused on love though. And they are so focused on love, it's coming out their ears and oozing out of their eyeballs. Like, you can't be thinking, I'm not focused on love, I'm focused on me, I'm not focused on love, I'm focused on me, with the intention of it bringing you a partner. You're literally trying to trick the universe or trick yourself. I don't know what you're trying to do, but that's not how stuff goes. It's kind of similar to when you're trying to manifest. And we know when we're trying to manifest, the worst thing that you can do is ask yourself over and over again, is it coming? Is it coming? Is it coming? When is it coming? How is it coming? Where is it? What do I need to do? When you're in a space where your mind is just going and going and going, whether you're thinking about something or you're trying to distract yourself 24/7, you're letting yourself know and you're letting the universe know, if I don't do this, I'm not going to get what I want at the finish line. So you've really become in a space where you believe if you don't think about love, you'll attract love. And you're doing whatever you can to attract love. If it means that you have to be in your mind 24/7 saying, don't think about love, don't think about love. When you see a couple, you're telling yourself, don't think about it, it'll come, don't think about it. Instead of just being able to freely experience life without that on your back, you know? And it's a very tricky line to walk, I understand, because eventually you will put love first. And you will be focused on love. There's nothing wrong with being focused on love, but you have to be focused on the right kind of love. And you also have to understand that all love is love. You know, if you don't have a partner, but you have animals in your life that you love, you have love in your life. If you don't have anybody, no animals, no children, no pets, no family, no job, no nothing, but you love yourself, you have love in your life. If you have none of that, don't even love yourself, but you love God, you have love in your life. And some people say, how do we love God and don't love ourselves? I don't know what space you are in or what journey you're in, but you have love in your life. If you have love, devotion, care towards anything, you have love in your life. You do. And sometimes we have to find that love. You know, we have to say, okay, maybe I'm just doing this because I have to, or maybe I'm doing this because I love feeling secure. Maybe I'm doing this because I love feeling accomplished when I'm finished with it. There's love in your life. You just have to find it. And finding those pockets of love helps you believe more that love is around you, you know, and when you believe that love is around you, you don't have to chase it. You know, when you believe that love is right around the corner for you everywhere you turn, it doesn't have to be something that overpowers your mind. It doesn't have to be something that haunts you day in and day out. So you really want to work to, again, reprogram your subconscious and understand all of the reasons why you aren't able to truly believe spaces in love, you know, and give yourself time to heal, because it may not happen overnight. There may be a lot of stuff even starting back in your childhood that you need to work on, and you need to release. And that's why I've been doing these releasing sessions, because I know a lot of us know our problems, we know our issues, but we don't know how to get rid of them. We don't even know where they come from. You know, in my releasing sessions, we talk about generational stuff. So if you have moms, if you're a woman and you have a mom that has bad relationship issues, a grandmama with bad relationship issues, if you're a man and you have a father with bad, you know, relationship issues, a grandfather with bad relationship issues, those things are a part of you as well. Now, not to say it's going to be your story, but it's going to be, you know, on your back. You're going to have to deal with these things, you know. If you have people in your life that are not trustworthy, so they always hide a little bit from everybody in their life, you might do the same thing. Even though you love people, you'll have to fight a little bit harder to make sure you're showing your full vulnerability, because it's already in you to hide a little bit, because that's how you've been taught, because that's what you've seen your whole life. You know, so it's bigger than just speaking over yourself. You have to ask yourself the why, and you have to make it make sense so you can find that love again with inside you. All right, next, let's talk about loving without judgment, and also let's talk about adapting some new standards. Okay, so loving without judgment. We're going to get into this next time in the self-love video. When you are judging people, it's 9 times out of 10, it's because you're hypercritical of yourself and you're looking at yourself under a microscope. So you're looking at everybody else under a microscope, you know, and this is something that I used to do. I am so obsessed with being the best version of myself. Any wrinkle, any blemish, any problem, any issue, I have 15 things that I can do to fix it right now, no matter what. Whether I want to do it or not, I have the options. You know, I'm very hyper aware of whatever I need to do to fix myself in any moment, because I'm psychic, because this is the work that I have to do. And I quite literally have to get my mind right and my spirit right to do the work that I have to do. So because of that, a lot of times when I am connecting with people, I'm very hypercritical of everything they need to do to fix themselves. And I might be frustrated, like, this person needs to fix themselves. Why aren't they? You know, but I have to understand that they might not be hypercritical of themselves. They might just be fine. And I am not perfect. And I am not the one that gets to say who's perfect and who isn't. So who the fuck am I to tell anybody that they're not enough or that they need to do more? You know, all I can do is make sure that you're enough for me. That's it. And if you aren't enough for me, it's not about you. It's about me, and it's about my needs. If I am lacking somewhere and I need people in my life that can support me in that, if you're lacking in that, you might not be right for me. Now, you might have people in your life that can support you in what you're lacking. And, you know, you might feel like you're getting what you need from them, but because we're both lacking in the same thing, we might not really mesh, you know? So I think it's important to really turn the mirror on yourself and really ask yourself how you feel about yourself if you judge yourself, if you're hypercritical of yourself, if you were taught to love people despite their differences. Also, we don't need to feel too attached to everybody. I kind of talked about this before, but if you have to move away from somebody or cut somebody off, there's no point in sitting there and judging them and talking about why you have to cut them off and being so upset and so down and so disappointed that they can't be who they need to be for you. Like, what's the point of doing that? Just leave. There's no need to throw down and, make it so clear that this person should have done this and they should have done this. What's the point of that? If you know they're not for you, then just leave. Like we put so much effort into feeling like our judgment of someone either validates us leaving, or we feel like our judgment of someone is going to turn them into who we want them to be. When in reality, judgment serves no purpose. If someone has not asked you to judge them, if someone has not said, hey, how can I be a better friend? Then, unless you recognize that this person is wanting to change, then that's one thing. Because in friendships, of course, you want to be able, and in love, romance, you want to be able to let somebody know when they aren't serving you. But everybody don't want to hear that. Everybody isn't ready to meet you halfway. Everybody isn't ready to connect with you in that way. And I feel 9 times out of 10, when you're judging someone, the chances are they're not even receptive to what you have to say. You don't feel like they'll be receptive to what you have to say. You've already put to the back burner having a civil conversation with this person about how you guys can change because you've responded with judgment. If judgment comes first, having a respectful conversation where you're able to hear that person's side is not really a big chance. It's kind of like if you have a friend that, is in a relationship where they're being cheated on, and you spent months and months and months judging that this person is being cheated on. And when you finally ask them, maybe they tell you something really sentimental or really deep that lets you know why they have a connection with this person. It might be totally different from what you thought, but because you spent your time feeling that judgment, you might still have a little part of you that believes what you believe versus fully accepting what somebody else has to say. That's something else too. We have trouble accepting what people show us and what they tell us. People will tell you out your mouth, I don't want to be with you. I don't like you. I'm not changing. I'm not doing this. Or they'll show you very blatantly with your actions. Instead of leaving, we'll judge them. Instead of moving away or putting some distance between us, we'll sit there and judge and pick it apart and wonder why. So I think it's very important in relationships to accept things for what they are, and also for you to just worry about your intention. I've been doing a lot of relationship readings where people have asked me, what is this person's intention? And in every reading, the first message I hear is, you're thinking about the wrong thing. You're on the wrong book. You're not even in the right book. You're on the wrong book, wrong chapter. Nobody else's intention matters except for yours. You know why? Because if someone has a good intention for you and they want to marry you, someone else has a good intention for you. They want you to be the mother of their children. Someone else has a good intention of you. They think that you're exactly like their father. They think that you will be a great addition to their family. If you don't want to do any of those things, if you don't want to be a wife, if you don't want to be a parent, if you don't want to be introduced in somebody's family as the new son-in-law, if you don't want to be that, then it really doesn't matter what their intention is because it's not what you want. We focus so much on someone else's intention and what someone else wants because we're waiting on them to bring our relationship to us. You want someone else to provide you with the relationship of your dreams. You want to connect with someone that says, hey, I want this, I want this, I want this. And you want it to align perfectly with all the things that you want. And you want it to be like, yes, that's why you want someone's intention, because you want to know that you guys are on the same page. But just because someone has a good or a positive intention, it doesn't mean that you're going to be on the same page. Intention does not mean that you're going to be on the same page. I think that there's something a little bit more important than intention in relationships especially, and that is long-term goal. When you're talking about a connection where you want to be with someone for the foreseeable future, your intention today is cute, but what do you want in 20 years? Because if someone, let's say for example, someone wants to have children and you want to have children, but they want to have children now so they can travel the world. When they're older and live a life by themselves, you want to have children now so you can raise your grandchildren and have a lot of time with your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren. You guys both have the same intention of having children, but your long-term goals are different. So I think a lot of times we connect with people because maybe we have the same intention or we both want something serious and we don't know the extent of what that means for each of us. And then when it's something different, we judge. We judge rather than having a communication first. So I'll say, whenever you feel like judging somebody or you feel like something isn't working, communicate first. That conversation is going to let you know we can move past this. We are too different. That's basically what it's going to let you know. You're either too different or you can move past it. Either way, those are your two options. You're either going to have to do one or the other, but in the end, you'll have what you need. You'll feel satisfied. You'll feel like you've done what you needed to do, like you've seen what you needed to see, and you're in a space where you can move forward and get the things that you need to get and step into the right spaces. So yeah, that's a little bit about judgment. Let's talk about these new standards, because you definitely want to develop new standards. It's important to make sure that you're not looking for the same type of connection that you were looking for in the past. Obviously, whatever you were looking for wasn't right, and you weren't looking for the right thing. Now, maybe you were looking for a partner for life and you still want a partner for life, but you have to ask yourself, what made you think that somebody could be a partner for life? Because they were nice to you and respected you? It's giving bare minimum. What made you think that someone could be a partner for life in the past, but you were let down? It's really important to learn from those mistakes and really let yourself adhere to a new set of standards. And it's really important to have a lot of conversations with yourself as well and ask yourself, does this person meet my standards? Literally check the list. Does this person meet all of my standards? If they don't, then what needs to change? What needs to be done differently? What can I do? What needs to be shifted so this person can meet my needs, so I can connect with this person in a way where I'm getting what they need and they're getting what they need as well. Also, I think it's important to understand that even if someone does meet all of your checkpoints, they still might not be right for you. A lot of people, if not the majority of people you come across in this life, will not be like for you. They won't be in your life for the rest of your life. They'll be there to show you a lesson. We only have one life partner. We have lots of soul ties, lots of karmic ties, lots of soul contracts, but one life partner. One person that you're supposed to do life with for the rest of your life. One person. That's it. That's it. Even a twin flame is not a life partner, and everybody doesn't even have a twin flame. Some people say everybody doesn't even have one, So it's really important to challenge yourself to, not feel so invested into these connections. And again, unhealthy attachment style, you are clearly not comfortable being on your own. If the second you connect with someone, you're thinking about the rest of your life with them, you are not comfortable being on your own. You are so ready to interject someone else into your life. And you know how I know that? Because I've lived it. I used to do that. Feel like I'm comfortable being on my own, and the second somebody shows me attention, I'm like, are we in a relationship? Do we go together? Why do you think people always say that? Like, oh, after one date or after one this, we go together. People say that because they're lonely, they're miserable, they don't like being alone. You're alone just because you have to, but if you had it your way, you would always have somebody in your life. And that's the point that you have to get to. You have to get to the point where if you had it your way, you would be by yourself. Realistically. If you had it your way, you would be by yourself. You would choose to be by yourself. When you can choose you, not because you feel like it's going to get you more love, not because you feel like it's going to help you manifest faster. When you choose you just because you love yourself so much and you don't want to be closer to anybody else than you. You don't want anybody closer to you than you are. When you love yourself that much, when you cherish yourself that much, when you treat yourself like you're the prize, and you really, really, really believe that, and you dedicate your life and your time to dating yourself and making yourself happy and showing yourself what you can do, and proving to yourself that you love yourself. When you really make that commitment to yourself, that's when the floodgates of love open. And in that moment, there is no judgment, because you accept every part of yourself and you're working to give yourself the things that you need, And when I started doing that, I judge people a lot less because I recognize my problems, and I know that my problems don't define me. I know that my issues don't define me. I'm also not hypercritical of my problems. I don't think there's anything wrong with me. So I'm not perpetually on a journey to be the perfect person. Whoever I am right now is who I need to be right now. If I feel like I want to be better or do better in the future, then I will. But I don't have to be better or do better or become something better to be more worthy. I'll just do that because that's just what I want to do. But I'm still worthy when I am at my worst. I'm still worthy when I'm at my best. My worth does not fluctuate whether I'm a good person or a bad person. I'm always worthy of love and human decency and respect, no matter what, And I think when you feel that, it makes you a lot less finger pointing at other people, because we also start to feel like, well, if you want my love, then you need to do this and this and this and this. What makes you think your love is that great? Because realistically, if your love was that great, it would either heal the people in your life so they would get their life together, or you would be in a space where you're attracting a bunch of energy vampires. And if that's the case, then you have to create boundaries and you have to protect yourself even more. You know that. You know what I'm saying? If you really do have a love that is that powerful, then it's not about picking who gets it or judging. It's about going in the places where you need to be, As a healer, you're going to make a lot of quick connections, and it's never to judge the person or to be like, are you worthy of my love? As a healer, you're going to heal somebody just from being around them. Like your energy is going to be going off of you and radiating in somebody else's energy, whether you want to or not, whether you're being intentional about it or not. If your love really is that great, if you really are that kind of healer, you don't have to try to heal people. You don't have to try to elevate them. You don't have to try to lift them up. You're going to do it already. Just by being around you, you're going to do it. Now, I do think that when healers have their boundaries, they're protecting themselves, they're protecting their space fully and truthfully, I think that they're able to really connect with a lot of great connections. When healers are still in a place where they don't really believe they're a healer, they're doubting if they're a healer, they feel like they have to save everybody because it makes them feel better, they have a codependent relationship with the people they heal. Again, you have to turn the mirror on you and ask yourself, why do you keep opening your doors and opening your heart to people that abuse you immediately? A healer is not going to be attracted to someone that abuses them. A healer is not going to be attracted to someone that connects with them and immediately starts to dump on them with trauma and problems and complaints. A healer is immediately going to be like, no. So if you are a healer and you are coming with that kind of love, you have to understand the responsibility behind that. And it's not about you judging. It's about out the gate, you removing yourself from spaces that don't serve you, because I do think too, someone either is going to be for you or not. And they're going to be for you or they're not going to be for you. You know that. When you have someone that's hurt your feelings and you have to tell them that they've hurt your feelings, you're either going to feel a lot of anxiety about the situation and it's going to go bad, or you're going to have a lot of anxiety about it and it's going to go great. And you're going to feel good about expressing yourself with that person for the foreseeable future. A lot of times we try to keep healing and healing and healing people that we know we can't talk to, that we know we can't get to. And sometimes that causes us to be really judgmental because we feel like, oh, this person played with me. Now I'm looking at everybody with a microscope, but they played you day two. You didn't have to keep them around in your life forever. When you're able to recognize that someone isn't for you and release, it's not the same as judging and harping on it and kind of feeding your ego by making yourself feel better by saying someone else is bad, because that only makes you feel like, well, what are they going to do to change so they can serve my needs, And in a relationship, you have to be so secure in yourself because you want to be able to freely give yourself to that person without looking for anything in return. The worst type of connection is one that's totally about checks and balances. You should be able to give and receive love freely in a connection. You should be able to give and receive love freely, So yeah, you want to be really strict with those standards. You want to really understand what you want. You really want to understand why you want those things, and you want to give yourself the opportunity to really, really connect with yourself on a deeper level. So as you are making these connections and stepping to new spaces, you know why, and you have the tools necessary to work throughout these things, okay? I also mentioned being comfortable letting go. I feel like this is something that I've talked about a bunch of different times before, and that's definitely something that we're going to have to remember. I think a lot of us are going to step into a lot of karmic situations and soul contracts that are going to prepare you once and for all to get ready for the relationships that you're going to step into. So like I've been saying, if you need to work on trust issues, then prepare to have your trust issues tested in a situation that you'll be safe enough to practice those trust issues. If you need to work on communication, then prepare to be tested in a safe environment. What you need to be worked on, it's about to happen. It's about to happen. If you're real judgmental in love, you're about to connect with some people that got a lot going on with them. And you're going to have to ask yourself, am I going to stick around with this person and judge them down to the ground and look down on them and keep them around just waiting to see if they're going to get better and string them along, resenting them more and more on the way? Or am I going to have a conversation immediately with them about their goals, what they want, what they're looking for in friendship, how they're feeling, how they're doing, what they're doing to elevate themselves? It's not hard to understand where someone's life path is. It's not hard to understand where somebody is on their journey. It's very, very easy today. I feel like people are either working on themselves or they're not. And it's easy to see when someone is working on themselves. Now, yes, someone can tell you that they're working on themselves, but as your discernment grows, as your intuition grows, you'll be able to understand clearly someone's energy when they're working on themselves versus someone just saying that, but then they're complaining about everything. It's very, very easy. And a lot of times we believe what someone says rather than what our energies tell us. I don't know what that's about either. Delulu, if you ask me, we believe what everybody says versus saying, you know what, I know this to be fact. My experience with this person has told me this. So why am I trusting what someone else has to say when I already know that they aren't trustworthy based on their actions? And I'm denying my own discernment and my own intuition. You know, that's why you have to really repair that connection with you. Because when you trust you, when you have faith in you, you're more likely to believe you. You're more likely to listen to what your energy tells you versus feeling like you're being dramatic or feeling like you're being extra, you know? So yeah, guys, overall, here's a little bit of a plan that you can work on as you're moving forward. Now, again, we're going to have a part 2, if you will, of this, where we're talking about specifically rebuilding the relationship with you. So a few things that you can work on: start to think about your past, start to think about how you were introduced to love, how you were introduced to friendship and connection, and go off of the things that you learned in that. What were your parents telling you as you were growing up? If you got bullied, if a friend hurt your feelings, you know, what were your parents telling you? What did you learn? What did you see between your parents? And how does that affect how you feel in love? If you have a lot of trauma in relationships, do your parents experience the same thing? Do you have people in your family that have gone through the same trauma? Figure out what is linear, figure out what is something that is generational for you, and figure out how it's affecting you in relationships. After you've done that, now you have to start working backwards. Figure out what you can do and how you can pour into yourself to undo those old thought processes. Journal, meditate, pray, and work to do that releasing. Like I've been saying, guys, my releasing sessions have been awesome. If you want to book a releasing session, you can book a mini. If you don't want to do the full 90 minutes, you can book a 45-minute releasing session where we work on some great things. The releasing sessions also can be recorded if you like. So yeah, you know, I think release is really important. And I think just dealing with the problem. You know, a lot of times we do self-love and we say, oh, I'm not worried about love. Whenever it comes, it comes. But you have not forgiven your daddy. You have not forgiven your mama. Your grandparents are still fighting and beefing and cussing and bringing drama to every family function. Can you really be ready to step into a healthy, happy, romantic, or platonic relationship if you haven't even really cracked the surface at your love trauma, at your relationship trauma? You have to work on that. You have to work on that. And I really think when you build that relationship with yourself, you're able to see yourself in a different light, past ego, past shadow, past vanity, past all of those things that you feel really define you. You're able to understand yourself on a different level. And once you know yourself inside and out, you're able to step into every relationship with humility, with openness, with vulnerability, with transparency. You don't have to worry about what version of myself do I want to give this person. You'll be able to fully be you. You'll be able to fully be you. And I think that a lot of times we don't even really show someone our true selves. You know, if people in your life don't know what your problems are, then you might want to work on that. You know, like the people closest to me know what my issues are, you know, because I know what my issues are and I'm not trying to hide them. I'm not trying to act perfect. You know, sometimes I'm insecure. Sometimes I don't believe in myself. Sometimes I need motivation. Sometimes I need support. And when I do, I get it together where I give it to myself or I ask for the people in my life to give it to me. And they remind me, girl, you know you deal with imposter syndrome. Girl, you know you got it. Girl, you know you should do this or do this. Sometimes we don't even want to be vulnerable enough to let people know what we're dealing with. And also, I think when we're not vulnerable enough and people are just being vulnerable with us, I think that can also make us judgmental and also make us resent people because we feel like, oh my God, this person's always dumping on me. You might need to dump on them too. You know, sometimes it's not dumping. Sometimes it's just called being a friend. You know, sometimes if you hide everything from the people in your life, you'll think anybody telling you anything is them going overboard. So you're judging them and judging them when in reality, you aren't comfortable with vulnerability, period. You know? So we have to look within because there's so many issues. People trying to play you, people trying to take advantage of you. Everybody is not going to be in the right. You're not going to be wrong all the time. But when you are, you have to be able to check it. When you are, you want to be able to understand why so you can make peace with it. So you can keep being a good friend, you know, just like what the people on the other side are going to be doing. It's not for you to do all the work. Everybody that wants to be in a relationship needs to be watching these videos and needs to be learning these things and healing themselves. You and the people that you're connecting with. You have to protect yourself from connecting with the wrong people that will disrupt your healing, disrupt your peace. And when you're doing that, you have to be able to connect with yourself first, you know, because when you connect with you, you're going to know, okay, this person is triggering my insecurity because they're not understanding me. Or you're going to know, okay, this person is triggering, you know, my judgment because this person is complaining to me and I have a lot going on right now. I don't even want to hear anybody else complaining because I'm so swamped. Does this person know that you're swamped? Have you let this person know that you're really, really stressed? Or are you always acting upbeat? Are you always acting like you're okay? So they don't even know to ask you, hey, are you fine? You know, a lot of times a lack of transparency in these connections is what causes people to not give us what we really need. You know, when you're stepping into a relationship like you're perfect, like you don't have nothing that anybody else can help you with, you're just there to help people, you're going to connect with the help. And there's nothing wrong with the help. The help just needs assistance. The help just needs someone to mold them and someone to turn them into who they want to be. And they might not even be ready for that. But because you're acting like you have nothing but time, space, and energy on your hands because your life is perfect and you're perfect, and all you want to do is heal, heal, heal without taking time for yourself, that's why you feel guilty taking time for you. That's why you feel guilty and selfish. And that's why people say you're a bad friend when you take time for you, because they're not even used to you doing that. Why is that? That doesn't make sense. You shouldn't be a friend where people feel like you never need time for you. You're always okay no matter what. You're not being honest with them. You're not being transparent with them because maybe you feel like their problems are bigger than yours. Maybe you feel like you want to handle all your issues on yourself, but when it comes to everybody else, you can be right there for them. That's not healthy either. That's not healthy either. You have to let people in your life know what you have going on. Hey, I need a break. Hey, I need some space. So when they're feeling motivated, they can reach out to you and be like, hey girl, this motivated me. Let me make sure it motivates you too. So they can check on you, so they can show up for you. People in your life don't know what you need unless you say it, you know. So you want to be open with the people in your life. You want to reach out to the people in your life, and you want to use the connections in your life. Friendships aren't supposed to be one-sided. It can't just be about what they want and their intention and what they're looking for. What do you want? What's your intention? Where do you need support? Say that. Ask for that. You know, if somebody is looking for a friend and help them pay their bills, I bet you damn Skippy, they're going to ask you about that bill money. Now, you need a friend that can show you that you're worthy of love no matter what. You need a friend that can show you, hey, we can have a disagreement and we can keep moving forward. But how can you ever get that if you never try to resolve a disagreement with someone? How can you do that how can you gain trust if you never tried to trust, you know? So it's a lot that we have to do to, you know, really show up and put that action behind what we want. But, you know, it's something that we all can do. And I definitely think, you know, just that self-awareness, that self-reflection, understanding yourself on a different level is definitely going to be key and help us make the most out of these connections. So yes, guys, like I said, there's definitely a lot of big things happening right now in relationships. I'm super ready and super excited for all that's to come. I hope that you guys are excited as well. Remember, you can check the description box to book sessions with me, a releasing session, book your self-led tarot course, get readings with me, all that good stuff, the podcast, the book club, all of the information is going to be down below. I appreciate you guys as always. Let me know how you feel about this topic, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys. Bless.